Welcome back to another episode of Newsbreak. I'm Halle Parker.
And I'm Nicole del Rosario.
On Tuesday, residents all across the Commonwealth will head to the polls to determine whether Democratic candidate Ralph Northam or Republican Ed Gillespie will be the new Virginia governor. According to Virginia 21, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization dedicated to increasing millennial engagement in political issues, 30% of qualified Virginia voters are millennials. Should they show up in full force, that demographic has an opportunity to truly affect the outcome. To get her take on the race overall and both candidates' stances on higher education, earlier today I sat down with Dr. Larissa Ferguson, a professor of Virginia history.
I think both gubernatorial candidates are supportive of higher education and understand the valuable role that higher ed plays historically in Virginia and also what we offer our citizens today.
Ferguson explained Northam and Gillespie spoke about similar issues with higher ed, from the difficulties transfers incur when switching institutions, to ensuring job opportunities after graduation, to the rising cost of tuition. However, both have presented very different solutions to the same problems. In regards to tuition, Gillespie wants to see institutions foster partnerships with businesses to both create job opportunities and rein in costs.
And doing that by having higher ed institutions partner with businesses for innovation zones.
While Northam promised the state, which currently accounts for 35% of Longwood's budget, would provide more funds toward higher education.
What Northam acknowledges is that the investment the state has made in higher education has declined, and that students and their parents have borne that burden through tuition.
As their nearly 2 years of campaigning approaches its climax, a recent string of ominous advertisements for both candidates, like this one by the Gillespie campaign attacking Northam, and this one from the Latino Victory Fund against Gillespie, have only added to the tense political environment in what Ferguson considered atypical for Virginia politics, usually characterized by what she called a, quote, culture of moderation.
You see a lot of fear-mongering in the political ads and really kind of trying to kind of get at people's heartstrings and concerns that doesn't really speak to the truth of what the policies have been and the candidates' real position. And in some ways, both candidates have had to kind of veer a little bit more to the right and a little bit more to the left to appeal to an increasingly polarized electorate.
Ultimately, Ferguson said she encouraged students to do their own research from reliable sources and exercise their right to vote come Tuesday, November 7th.
The vote has only been free for 50 years, and so people really need to exercise their citizenship rights and go out and vote on Tuesday.
In Farmville, just across the street from Chichester, after months of controversy, 2 zoning proposals that would have made way for the development of at least one 5-story student apartment complex were tabled in late September. The controversy began when Farmville citizens Robert and Sherry Martin presented plans for a complex and requested to rezone 4 of their properties located at the intersection of Oak, Appomattox, and High Street on July 28, according to Farmville Planning Commission Vice Chair John Miller. 4 days later, Walk to Campus Properties submitted their own letter on August 1st, requesting to rezone 37 of their properties in order to have the same opportunities. The Rotunda's Stephen Herring met with Farmville Walk to Campus Property Manager Michelle Donnelly, who said that the business welcomed the competition. Farmville Town Manager Jerry Spates said reviewing the comprehensive plan over the next 12 to 18 months could either eliminate the proposals or pave the way for them to be a viable project in the future.
At the university, in response to the ongoing controversies surrounding protests during the national anthem in the NFL, Director of Athletics Troy Austin said Longwood University chose to permit similar demonstrations by student athletes. The Rotunda sports reporter Patrick Sanderson sat down with Austin, who stated, quote, "The ability to protest is an area of free speech, and we won't limit that right." Troy also stated that though student athletes are allowed to protest, teams were advised to discuss the issue together and collectively decide how to approach the issue. As the program with the largest platform, redshirt junior men's basketball player Brian G. said the team considered the controversy from both sides.
We kind of just sat down as a team and kind of tried to figure out what we were going to decide to do. We didn't want anybody raising their fist or kneeling without kind of talking about it first. We wanted to all be a team about it.
Even though it is unlikely protests will be held, G said he believed the discussions helped them better understand the issues and viewpoints from opposite sides.
Though its official opening isn't slated until fall 2018, the University Upchurch Center, which will act as the new student union, had students roaming its halls leaving their marks and signatures just mere hours ago. We go to Autumn Childress with more on the event.
It's a historic day here at Longwood University. Students, faculty, and staff alike lined up to leave their mark on the newest addition to campus.
We're excited to have you here to be a piece of history.
Construction is well underway for the Upchurch University Center, which will serve as the new student union on campus, and school officials are letting the Longwood community get in on the construction.
So one of the things that we're offering to students, faculty, and staff is for an opportunity to sign a piece of sheetrock that will be in the wall in the multipurpose room. So we did it years ago when they were rebuilding the Ruffner and the Rotunda. So there was a recommendation to maybe kind of do the same thing here with the University Center.
While the center brings newness to the campus, it's the history in the Upchurch Center that means the most. The new student center takes the place of the Cunningham dorms, which were the oldest dorms on campus before being torn down in 2014. And Longwood is proud to keep some of that history alive.
So what they did is they repurposed some of the wood from that building, and they're using it for the floor in the multipurpose room. And then there was also some trees that were taken down as well, and what they did was they're using some of those trees and repurposing some of the wood of the trees for some of the accents in that building as well.
Longwood students lined up outside the new center, eagerly awaiting their turn to be a part of this history.
Every time I walk in that building, I'm going to know that I was there when it was being constructed, and my name will be there forever. And yes, I won't be able to actually see it on the wall, but I'll be able to tell people when I go, you know, somewhere back there, my name's sitting behind that wall, and I was, you know, got to experience that as a student at Longwood.
For Rotunda Studios, I'm Autumn Childress.
Thank you, Autumn.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Remember to catch up on all the latest news by checking out our website at rotundaonline.com, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter.
And don't forget to pick up our next print edition on Monday, November 6th. Rotunda Studios News Break will be back next week. Thanks for watching.